Road to Glory saves are one of the things that FIFA does right. They're difficult enough to still be fun, but also way less time consuming than doing one on Football Manager. The only issue is trying to keep them realistic. It's far too easy to keep players loyal, you'll never have to switch up your tactics, and youth can be a bit overpowered. So today, we'll be looking at some real life Road to Glories that Luton, Brighton, Wigan and Brentford have done, and we'll see what we can copy from their rises to the top and keep our saves a bit more realistic. So let's start with the most memorable part of every single save, the players. It's tempting to just keep the same 25 players as you progress up the leagues, and I can see exactly why you'd want to. You know how they play on the pitch, you'll be developing them in your way on the training ground, and you'll be saving money in the financial screen. But realistically, about 60% of your team will be staying every time you get promoted. From a squad of 25, that's 10 new signings every time you get promoted. Maybe 2 or 3 players could grow with you all the way up the leagues, but anything above that is looking quite unlikely. When you start your career, why not plan the players that you want to take on the journey all the way to the top? If you want to look at some real life examples of players that did this journey, of course you can check out Luton's Pelly and Panzu, you've got Brighton's Lewis Dunk, and you've got Wigan's Leighton Baines. These were all young players with high mental stats, so that's composure, aggression and positioning. When I see these stats in game, I like to think this means they're a professional young player in FIFA. A player like this is definitely a future captain. While you're rebuilding your squad after every promotion, do consider how many players you can keep. If you rebuild your full squad with 16 to 20 year olds, they'll probably be growing too fast, so do throw in some players in their mid-20s too. Maybe even a couple of over 30s who have league experience, because that just seems a bit more realistic to do that. So let me ask you a question. Does the location of a club influence anything when it comes to a Road to Glory? Well, it turns out it kind of does. When you're in the lower leagues, you'll be signing a lot more local players. When you get promoted to the 3rd division, basically anyone from the nation will join, and in the 2nd tier, you can include some surrounding nations, so Scotland, France and Ireland could be popular in England, while Belgium, Netherlands and Poland would be popular in Germany. This seems like a fairly easy thing to add to your careers. Look at teams who play nearby in your county or in your state, and check their youth players, because the chances are most of them will be local. For example, Salford near Manchester could be looking at Manchester United and Manchester City, while Mansfield near Nottingham could look at Forest, Leicester and Derby. It's not just the players that are influenced by location though. If you like changing your stadium when you get promoted, do consider the population of the city before you go for a 30,000 seater in Cumbria. It might be realistic for a decent sized area like Wimbledon in London, but Carlisle and Barrow would probably not even fill a 15,000 seater until they were in the Premier League. Rivalries are also a massive part of football in the UK and in Germany, so location can have a big impact on these too. If you pick a team from Yorkshire, you'll get some really good rivalries in every league. Teams like Leeds, Sheffield United, Sheffield Wednesday, Bradford, Huddersfield, Barnsley and Doncaster are all spread out across the EFL. It can add a bit of fun to be trying to finish above a rival every season, or maybe if they get relegated, try and steal some of their best players. Thanks to being quite an old sport in England, and in Germany of course, basically every single club in both nations will have at least one moment that you can recreate. From the 2 teams we mentioned earlier, Carlisle and Wimbledon, you have several. What if Bill Shankly had his European successes after bringing Carlisle to the Premier League? Can you recreate Wimbledon's unlikely FA Cup victory in the 90s against Liverpool? Once you've decided on what club you want to use, have a quick look on Google or Wikipedia and see if you can spot a cool period in their history. Instantly, you'll get a goal or a target for your save. I'd say recreating anything is realistic, as if it happened once, there's absolutely no reason it can't happen again. Anything from having a golden generation of youth to winning cups and leagues can be recreated in FIFA, and it's something I always try and do in every one of my saves. I think the coolest small challenge would be trying to recreate Newport County's season, where they played both in League 2 and also in what is now known as the Europa League, something that's never been done before or since. These are the small little things you can realise just by having a little bit of time to research the clubs that you want to pick. So you might be wondering, who are the best teams to actually do a Road to Glory with? If you're not sure which team to pick, a few months ago I rated every team in every 3rd or 4th division on FIFA to try and find the best team. Click on the card in the top right of the video right now to check that out. Finally, let's have a look at the Youth Academy. I kept this for last because to know how to use it realistically, you need to look at your squad, you need to look at your location in the country that you've picked, and you need to know a little bit about your history. Certain clubs just make more sense when it comes to doing youth-focused road to glories. Crewe are a big example. Tons of future Premier League players came through while they were a League 2 side, thanks to their investment and dependence, really, on bringing through youth players every single season. Their location in the northwest of England near Liverpool, Manchester and Stoke gave them access to millions of young players too. If you put Crewe somewhere like Cornwall, they'd have had nowhere near the same amount of success that they did have. When you've decided what club that you want to use, have a look on Google Maps where your club actually is. The more big cities nearby, the better academy staff you should be giving yourself. If the squad also starts out with a bunch of very young players inside it, you could boost the level of academy staff that you're giving yourself. It's usually a good hint that the team is trying to develop players rather than buying them in real life. Let's have a look at an example. Meppen in the German 3rd Division are a very average side. The nearest big city is Münster, and that's 82 kilometers away. Their squad has one player under 22 years old, and that player only has 68 potential. This is probably not the most realistic side to rebuild with youth. Of course, if you want to make a storyline to justify it, then that can be a really easy way to add a fun twist. Because of their proximity to the Netherlands, you could see them being bought by one of the Eredivisie teams as a feeder club, with the objective of maybe bringing through as many German and Dutch players as possible. In my opinion, that sounds like a really fun save, and it's a super easy way to add a realistic save idea. You could do something like this with maybe teams near the Welsh border in England, or teams near the Polish border in Germany. There's so many different ways you can make this idea make sense, and I think it's just a super cool idea for any youth save you did. Of course, there are some small things that you can do to keep things fun. Maybe try and change your tactics every year, copy one of their famous managers' tactics if they have one, or maybe keep switching up your youth nations, or even go full hardcore and try and follow the official league rules like the team would do in real life. I do really enjoy trying to restrict the sort of signings and transfers that I can make, limiting the player overall when you sign them, maybe 64 overall in the 4th Division, 68 in the 3rd Division, 74 in the 2nd, and then maybe 85 in the Premier League, because signing superstars does make the game a little bit too easy. I'm sure every single person watching this has their own sort of set of rules and challenges that they like to give themselves, so if you do, make sure you leave them in the comments. And if you've got any other suggestions for things you think people should be doing in their FIFA saves, leave them in the comments below as well. In the next couple of days, I'm going to be editing a new video where I'm going to be rating your guys' saves, so if you've got one you think I really need to see and look at, then make sure you share it with us over on Discord. All the instructions are over there and it's super easy to do. If you liked today's video and you want to see more FIFA content, please subscribe or check out the playlist on the screen right now. It was a really fun save and I really do recommend you check it out. But anyway, thank you for watching. I'll see you soon. Cheers and goodbye.